Captain Alex Ryder had seen many strange worlds in his life as an explorer, but nothing prepared him for the beauty of Calera 7. The planet's skies were a swirl of purples and pinks, with two suns casting golden light on the sprawling forests below. Giant trees with silver leaves shimmered in the sunlight, and rivers of crystal-clear water cut through valleys like ribbons of glass. Alex had landed his shuttle near a canyon that appeared untouched by any life he had seen before. He stepped out of the craft, taking a deep breath of the alien air. It smelled sweet, like a mix of fresh rain and unknown flowers. The canyon's walls were steep, covered in vines that seemed almost alive, twisting and moving slightly as if sensing his presence. Despite the beauty, Alex's explorer instincts were on high alert. He had learned over the years that the most beautiful places often hid the most dangerous secrets. Carefully, he began to explore the canyon, documenting everything with his scanner. Birds-like creatures with translucent wings flitted around him, and strange insects with glowing shells crawled along the rocks. As he moved deeper, the canyon narrowed and the sunlight faded. Shadows stretched across the walls, creating shapes that played tricks on his mind. Suddenly, the ground beneath him gave way. Rocks crumbled, and Alex stumbled, grabbing onto a vine for support. The rock he had been standing on collapsed, sending him sliding down a slope into a narrow tunnel hidden between two massive boulders. He tried to climb back, but the rocks shifted again, blocking his way. He was trapped. Cursing under his breath, Alex scanned his surroundings. The tunnel was dark, damp, and cramped, with walls slick from water dripping from the ceiling. He pulled out his flashlight, the beam cutting through the darkness, revealing shapes that seemed to move. But he was not alone. A soft rustle echoed from the shadows. Alex froze. From the darkness, a figure emerged, tall and graceful, unlike anything he had ever seen. Her skin glowed faintly under the light, a soft luminescent blue, and her eyes were large, reflecting intelligence and curiosity. Her long hair shimmered like strands of silver, flowing around her shoulders as if moving in water. Alex's first thought was fear. He had encountered alien life before, but this was different. She seemed aware of him instantly, and yet she did not attack. Her movements were fluid, careful, almost like she was studying him as much as he was studying her. He raised his hands slowly, trying not to provoke her. "I mean no harm," he said, hoping she could understand him. To his surprise, she tilted her head, a soundless gesture that suggested curiosity rather than aggression. Alex realized that she might be intelligent. His heart raced with both fear and excitement. He had heard of alien species that were beautiful but deadly, especially during periods when their instincts were heightened. He suspected this might be the case here. He cautiously took a step forward, and she mirrored him, maintaining a careful distance. The alien's body language suggested caution but also awareness of her own strength. Alex knew that if she chose to attack, he might not survive. Yet there was no hostility in her eyes, only curiosity and something else, something he couldn't quite name. Minutes passed in tense silence. Alex decided to try another approach. He knelt and drew a simple symbol in the dirt, a circle with a line through it indicating peace. The alien watched him intently, her eyes narrowing and then widening as if she was trying to understand the meaning. Slowly, she reached out a hand and touched the symbol. Her skin was warm, almost human-like, but with a faint vibration as if energy flowed beneath it. This small act of interaction marked a turning point. Alex smiled gently. "I'm trapped here. I think you are too," he said, gesturing to the narrow tunnel. She watched him, tilting her head again, then stepped closer, testing the distance. It was clear now that she was not aggressive, but her body moved with a tension that suggested her instincts were strong. As the minutes turned into hours, Alex and the alien, whom he decided to call Elisara for the moment, began a silent communication. He used gestures, pointing to directions, drawing shapes, and trying to indicate that they should look for a way out together. She responded in kind, leading him to parts of the tunnel that were more stable. Alex realized that despite the danger of her species' heightened instincts, she had a remarkable intelligence and a sense of caution that matched his own. During a brief rest, Alex studied her more closely. Her form was elegant, built for speed and agility, yet she radiated strength. Her glowing skin seemed to pulse slightly with emotion or energy, and her eyes followed every movement with sharp focus. He felt a mixture of awe and respect. Here was a being completely unlike anything he had encountered, yet there was a common thread of intelligence and curiosity that connected them. "Maybe we can help each other," he said softly. as if speaking aloud might make the idea more real. Elisera tilted her head, her gaze fixed on him. She made a low humming sound, almost musical, that resonated through the cavern. Alex listened carefully, noting that the tone seemed not threatening but communicative. Hours passed as they explored together, Alex following her lead and vice versa. The tunnel was treacherous with loose rocks and sudden drops. At one point, a small rock slide trapped them further, and Alex had to use his knowledge of physics and tools from his pack to stabilize the passage. Elisera watched him closely, and when he succeeded, she emitted a sound of approval, a vibration that made the air shimmer slightly. Alex realized that trust was beginning to form between them. Despite the differences in their species, they were learning to rely on each other. He felt a surge of admiration for her abilities and a deep respect for her instincts. She was powerful, but intelligent enough to understand that cooperation was the best path forward. As the light of the twin suns faded outside, the tunnel grew colder and darker. Alex and Elisera found a small alcove to rest. Alex shared some of his rations, offering a small piece of nutrient bar to her. She examined it carefully, then took it delicately, eating with a grace that fascinated him. It was a small moment, but it cemented their tentative bond. He thought about the situation they were in. Alone on an alien planet, trapped in a cavern with a creature from another world, survival depended on more than strength. It depended on understanding, intelligence, and the willingness to adapt. Alex felt a strange sense of excitement. This was the kind of challenge that reminded him why he had become an explorer. Elisera, sensing his thoughts perhaps, shifted closer, but cautiously. Her body radiated a faint heat, and Alex could see the muscles tensing beneath her glowing skin. He guessed that her species' heightened instincts made her wary of strangers, especially during sensitive periods in their life cycle. But instead of fear, he felt admiration. This was not a mindless predator. She was aware, intelligent, and capable of complex emotion. Night fell on Kalira 7. The twin suns dipped below the horizon, leaving the sky filled with stars. Bioluminescent plants cast a soft glow in the cavern, illuminating their surroundings. Alex and Elisera rested, still on alert, but finding comfort in each other's presence. Alex reflected on the day's events. He had come to explore a beautiful world and had found something even more remarkable: life, intelligence, and a chance to connect across species. He knew the days ahead would be difficult. The planet was unpredictable, and Elisera's instincts during this period could lead to dangerous situations. But he also knew that humans had a unique ability to think, adapt, and empathize, qualities that had allowed him to survive countless challenges before. As he drifted into a light sleep, Alex felt a quiet determination. He would find a way out of this cavern, and he would do it with Elisera's help. He respected her power, her instincts, and her intelligence, and he hoped that she could come to respect his as well. Together they were stronger than they were alone, and perhaps together they could survive the hidden dangers of Kalira 7. For now, trapped in a strange and beautiful alien world, Captain Alex Ryder and Elisera, the glowing alien, had taken the first step toward an unlikely partnership, one born not of friendship or desire, but of survival, understanding, and mutual respect. And as the cavern hummed with the sounds of the alien night, both of them sensed that their journey was only just beginning. The morning light of Kalira 7 filtered into the cavern, painting the walls in soft shades of violet and gold. Captain Alex Ryder stirred, careful not to disturb Elisera, the glowing alien who had made the alcove her temporary resting place. She was already awake, her luminous eyes observing him as he stretched and prepared for the day. Alex felt a sense of awe. Despite being trapped in a cavern system deep beneath the planet's surface, there was a beauty in this world that made him forget the danger. He glanced at Elisera, noting how her skin seemed to glow brighter in the morning light, a subtle pulse that mirrored her energy. It was a reminder that her instincts, heightened by her mating season, could flare unpredictably at any moment. Yet Alex remained calm. He had faced danger before, and he knew that patience and careful observation were his greatest tools. Today their priority was simple: find a way out of the cavern system, but he also understood that their cooperation would require trust, a delicate bond that had begun to form during the night. He stood and tested the ground with his boots. The cavern floor was uneven, covered in loose stones and small pools of water. Carefully, he began to explore, gesturing for Elisara to follow. She moved gracefully, her steps light and measured. Yet Alex could sense the tension in her body. Every movement she made suggested both curiosity and caution. As they progressed, Alex began experimenting with communication. He sketched symbols in the dust, simple shapes representing paths, obstacles, and potential dangers. Elisara watched intently, tilting her head and occasionally reaching out to touch the symbols. When she did, the ground vibrated slightly beneath his hand, a gentle confirmation that she was paying attention. "Good," Alex said quietly, though he was unsure if she understood the sound of his voice. He had learned that tone mattered as much as words. Calm, steady speech could help prevent unnecessary aggression, especially when dealing with a being so sensitive to energy and emotion. Their journey through the cavern was slow. They encountered tight passages that required Alex to crawl and leap over gaps, while Elisara effortlessly navigated around obstacles with her long, flexible limbs. It was clear that her species was built for agility and speed, yet Alex noticed a keen intelligence in her actions. She wasn't simply moving instinctively, she was assessing, analyzing, and making decisions just as he did. At one point, they reached an underground river. The water was fast and cold, tumbling over jagged rocks. Alex paused, considering the best way to cross. He looked at Elisara, who crouched at the edge, her eyes scanning the current. She made a low humming sound, almost like a question. Alex pointed to a fallen log nearby. "We can use that," he said, hoping she would understand. Carefully, they maneuvered the log into the water, using it as a bridge. Alex went first, testing its stability, then held out his hand to Elisara. She hesitated, instinctively wary, then slowly stepped forward. Her movements were deliberate, controlled, and when she reached the other side, she emitted a soft vibration of acknowledgement. Alex smiled. "Teamwork," he said. She tilted her head as if pondering the concept. It was a small victory, but in the cavern, even small victories mattered. As they continued, Alex learned more about Elisara. Her species seemed to value observation and caution above all else. But she also displayed moments of curiosity and even humor. At one point, she nudged a small rock toward him playfully, and Alex responded by tapping it back. They shared a brief moment of levity, a rare chance to relax amid the tension. But the planet was not without danger. The cavern walls were unstable in places, and small rock slides were common. Alex relied on his knowledge of physics and engineering to predict weak spots and guide Elisara safely around them. In turn, she used her strength and agility to help clear obstacles and warn him of hidden dangers. Their partnership was growing, based not on words but on shared understanding and mutual respect. By midday, they reached a vast underground chamber. Stalactites hung like jagged teeth from the ceiling, and the floor was slick with moisture. In the center of the chamber, a strange glowing fungus pulsed with light, illuminating the space with an eerie beauty. Alex was careful to avoid disturbing it, noting its bioluminescence on his scanner. Elisara moved closer to it, her eyes wide with fascination. She extended her hand and touched the fungus lightly, and the glow seemed to respond, flickering as if alive. Alex realized that the planet itself was a living system, interconnected in ways he could only begin to understand. "Amazing," he whispered, awed by the interaction. Elisara turned toward him, making a soft sound that conveyed approval. It was clear that she appreciated his respect for her world, just as he appreciated hers. Their progress, however, was interrupted by a sudden tremor. The ground shook violently and rocks fell from the ceiling. Alex grabbed Elisara, shielding her from debris. She responded instantly, her strength and speed helping them avoid the worst of the falling rocks. When the tremor subsided, they were both shaken but unharmed. "This place is alive," Alex said, more to himself than to her. He realized that survival on Kalira 7 required more than physical skill. It demanded awareness, adaptability, and an understanding of the planet's rhythms. Elisara's instincts, heightened as they were, gave her a natural advantage, but Alex's intelligence and problem-solving abilities allowed him to match her in strategy. Together they had a chance. They found a safer area to rest and eat. Alex shared some of his rations again, offering small pieces of nutrient bars. Elisara examined them carefully, then took a portion delicately. He watched her eat, noting how every movement was precise, efficient, and controlled. It was a reminder that her species was built for survival, and that intelligence was not only in the mind but in the body as well. As they rested, Alex began experimenting further with communication. He drew simple shapes and lines, attempting to represent movement, direction, and objects. Elisara responded by tracing her own symbols in the dirt, shapes he did not yet understand but that clearly carried meaning. It was slow, painstaking work, but it was a breakthrough. They were beginning to understand each other, bridging the gap between species. Even as trust grew, Alex remained aware of her instincts. Her mating season made her unpredictable at times. When she sensed sudden movements or unfamiliar sounds, her body tensed, and her glowing skin brightened as a warning. Alex learned to remain calm and steady, speaking softly and moving deliberately, helping her manage her natural instincts without triggering aggression. The day continued with exploration, each step bringing new discoveries. Strange rock formations, underground pools, and hidden passageways revealed the planet's complexity. Alex was constantly in awe not only of the environment but of Elisara's abilities. She navigated the terrain with a grace and precision that highlighted the strengths of her species, while he used tools, logic, and ingenuity to overcome obstacles she could not. Together, they complemented each other perfectly. As night fell in the cavern, the bioluminescent plants glowed softly, creating a calming, almost magical atmosphere. Alex and Elisara found another small alcove to rest. He reflected on their day. From a frightening encounter in a narrow tunnel to navigating rivers and chambers, they had survived by relying on each other. It was a lesson in cooperation, trust, and the power of intelligence, both human and alien. Alex realized that his admiration for Elisara went beyond mere fascination with her beauty or strength. He respected her mind, her instincts, and her ability to adapt to the challenges of her world. In turn, she had begun to recognize his abilities, his calm under pressure, and his respect for life. Their bond was growing, built not on emotion alone but on shared experience and mutual respect. As they rested, Alex thought about the future. The cavern system was vast and there were more dangers ahead. Underground predators, unstable terrain, and unknown hazards. But he also knew that together, they had a better chance than either of them alone. His human intelligence, combined with her instincts and agility, created a partnership that was stronger than the sum of its parts. Elisara seemed to sense his thoughts. She shifted closer but cautiously, maintaining her personal space. The glow of her skin softened, a subtle sign of trust. Alex smiled, feeling a quiet sense of accomplishment. They were learning to work together, to understand each other, and to face the challenges of an alien world as a team. The night passed with relative calm. Alex kept watch, noting the sounds of the cavern, the dripping of water, the hum of strange insects, and the occasional distant rumble of shifting rock. Elisara slept lightly, her body tense but relaxed enough to indicate trust. He marveled at the resilience of her species, and at the resilience of humans as well. By the time dawn arrived, painting the cavern walls with soft light once more, Alex felt a renewed determination. He would find a way out of this place, not just for himself but with Elisara's help. They had survived together, learned together, and begun to understand each other. The bond they were forming was rare, remarkable, and powerful, a partnership between species founded on respect, intelligence, and survival. And so as the twin suns rose outside, casting their light into the hidden depths of Calira 7, Captain Alex Ryder and Elisara prepared to face another day of challenges. The underground caverns of Calira 7 were growing more unpredictable with each step. Captain Alex Ryder and Elisara had made some progress over the last 2 days, but now the challenges were intensifying. Narrow tunnels opened into enormous chambers, some filled with water, others with sharp rock formations that looked almost alive in the flickering light of their portable lamps. Every corner held a new obstacle, and every sound echoed with uncertainty. Alex carefully led the way, moving slowly to ensure that the ground beneath him was stable. Elisara followed, her glowing skin casting a faint light across the jagged walls. She moved with a grace that seemed effortless, yet Alex knew her body was always tense, ready to react if a threat appeared. Her instincts were heightened as this was the beginning of her species' mating season. While her beauty and agility were remarkable, Alex remained cautious, knowing that unpredictable reactions could occur. "Stay close," he said softly, though he was unsure if she understood the words. His tone, calm and steady, seemed to matter more than the language itself. Elisara tilted her head and made a soft, vibrating hum, a sound that had become her way of communicating approval or understanding. The cavern opened suddenly into a vast underground chamber, far larger than any Alex had anticipated. Stalactites hung from the ceiling like jagged teeth, and the floor was uneven, dotted with shallow pools of water and loose stones. In the center, a fast-moving underground river cut across the chamber, the sound of rushing water echoing off the walls. Alex assessed the situation carefully. The river was too strong to jump across, and the floor near the edge was slippery. He needed a plan. Drawing on years of exploration experience, he began examining the environment for anything that could help. There were fallen boulders along the edge, thick vines dangling from the ceiling, and several sturdy-looking rocks in the shallow pools. Elisara watched him silently, her glowing eyes focused, her body tense but attentive. Alex realized that she had learned to trust his judgment, even if she did not fully understand his methods. He decided to build a makeshift bridge using the vines and rocks. Carefully, he tied a vine around a boulder, testing its strength, then secured it across the narrowest part of the river. Elisara observed, making small adjustments with her hands, nudging rocks into place with precise movements. Together, they created a path across. "Almost there," Alex whispered, more to himself than to her. Elisara stepped onto the makeshift bridge first. Alex watched closely, ready to assist if it failed. Her movements were careful and measured, balancing perfectly on the uneven surface. Once she reached the other side safely, she emitted a soft, vibrating hum, signaling success. Alex smiled, feeling a surge of relief and admiration. He followed, carefully placing each step to maintain balance. Halfway across, the vine slipped slightly, causing him to stumble. Elisara reacted instantly, stretching a hand to steady him. The contact was brief but steadying, a reminder of the growing trust between them. Together, they made it across the river safely. Beyond the river, the cavern narrowed again, leading to a series of smaller tunnels. Alex knew the passage would be treacherous. Loose rocks, hidden pits, and sharp outcroppings meant that a single mistake could cause injury. He moved slowly, testing the ground with each step, while Elisara mirrored his movements, adjusting her stride to avoid triggering any loose stones. Suddenly, a deep rumble echoed through the cavern. The walls vibrated and small rocks fell from the ceiling. Alex froze, scanning the area. "Stay calm," he whispered, his voice steady. Elisara's body tensed, her glow brightening as her instincts flared. She made a low, vibrating hum, a warning that the tremor had unsettled her. The rumble grew louder, and a small rock slide began at the far end of the tunnel. Alex quickly assessed their options. Retreating could be dangerous, as the rocks might block their path entirely. Moving forward meant navigating the unstable area. He chose forward, trusting his ability to react quickly. "Follow me," he shouted, his voice cutting through the noise. Elisara moved with precision, keeping close but careful not to touch him unnecessarily. Together they dodged falling rocks, leaping over gaps and using the tunnel walls for support. Alex's heart pounded, but his mind stayed focused. Every step required calculation, every movement demanded attention. After what felt like an eternity, they reached a more stable section of the tunnel. Alex allowed himself a brief moment to catch his breath. Elisara too slowed her movements, her body relaxing slightly. The danger had passed for now, but Alex knew the planet had more surprises in store. They continued deeper into the caverns, the path winding and unpredictable. Along the way, Alex noticed strange markings on the walls etched into the stone by some unknown force. They resembled patterns of plants or water currents, and he suspected they might be the work of Elisara's species, or another intelligent life form on the planet. He pointed to them, hoping she would understand. Elisara's eyes widened, and she traced the patterns with her fingers. The soft glow of her skin illuminated the markings, revealing details Alex could not see in the dim light. It was a moment of discovery, a reminder that the world around them was not just dangerous but also filled with wonder. Alex felt a renewed sense of purpose. Survival was important, but understanding this alien planet was equally vital. Elisara's presence made the task possible, as her instincts and knowledge of the terrain guided him through areas he could never navigate alone. As night fell deep within the cavern system, Alex and Elisara found a small ledge to rest. They were both exhausted from the day's challenges, yet neither complained. Alex carefully shared some of his nutrient bars, breaking them into small pieces and offering them to her. Elisara accepted them delicately, her movements precise and controlled. They ate in silence, a quiet companionship forming between them. Alex reflected on the day's events. He had seen firsthand how human ingenuity could complement alien abilities. His tools, his knowledge of physics, and his problem-solving skills had helped them navigate dangers that Elisara's strength and agility alone could not overcome. Likewise, her instincts and quick reactions had saved them more than once. Together they had become a team, but Alex also knew that the real test was yet to come. The cavern system was vast, and deeper areas promised even greater challenges. Underground rivers, predatory creatures, and unstable rock formations all awaited them. He understood that success would require more than courage. It would require intelligence, creativity, and trust. Elisara, sensing his thoughts, moved closer but maintained a respectful distance. Her glowing skin dimmed slightly, a subtle sign of relaxation and trust. Alex smiled, feeling a quiet pride in their progress. They were not just surviving. They were learning to work together, to understand each other, and to face the unknown as a unit. Suddenly, a distant roar echoed through the cavern. Both Alex and Elisara froze. The sound was low and guttural, reverberating off the walls. Alex's mind raced. The planet was alive with unknown life forms, and the roar suggested a predator, possibly a large creature that roamed the caverns. "Stay calm," Alex whispered, though his own heartbeat quickened. Elisara's body tensed, her glow brightening as her instincts kicked in. She made a low, vibrating hum, signaling alertness. Alex knew that in moments like this, panic could be fatal. They needed a plan. He scanned the area and spotted a narrow crevice in the wall. "There," he said, pointing. Elisara understood immediately, moving with fluid precision toward the opening. Alex followed, squeezing through the tight space just as the roar grew louder. The crevice led to a small side tunnel hidden from view. They paused to catch their breath, listening as the sound of the predator faded into the distance. "Good thinking," Alex said softly, though he doubted she understood the words. Her soft, vibrating hum seemed to convey approval, a silent acknowledgement of teamwork. The rest of the night passed with caution. Alex and Elisara moved slowly, carefully avoiding loose rocks and listening for any signs of predators. Every step required attention. Every sound demanded awareness. Despite the danger, Alex felt a growing confidence. They were learning to anticipate threats, to use their combined skills, and to survive where alone they might have failed. As dawn approached, the glow from bioluminescent plants illuminated their path. Alex looked at Elisara, her body relaxed, her eyes calm. He realized that their partnership had grown stronger in a single day of danger and discovery. Trust had been forged in the fire of shared challenge, and their bond was now more than survival. It was respect, understanding, and teamwork. Alex knew that deeper challenges awaited, but he also knew that together they could face them. His human ingenuity, combined with Elisara's instincts and strength, created a partnership that was uniquely powerful. The caverns of Kalira 7 were dangerous, but they had proven that intelligence, cooperation, and courage could overcome even the most threatening situations. As they settled for a final rest before continuing their journey, Alex felt a quiet determination. The day had tested them in ways he could not have imagined, yet they had prevailed. The lessons of patience, observation, and teamwork would guide them through whatever lay ahead. And so, deep within the hidden caverns of Kalira 7, Captain Alex Ryder and Elisara prepared for the next stage of their journey. The cavern system of Kalira 7 had tested Captain Alex Ryder and Elisara in ways neither could have anticipated. Days of navigating narrow tunnels, rushing underground rivers, and evading predators had forged a bond of trust and respect between the human and the alien. Now, as they neared what Alex hoped was the surface, the air itself seemed to change. It was fresher, warmer, carrying the faint scent of unknown flowers and minerals. Alex scanned the cavern ahead. The passage widened slightly, revealing a faint light at the far end. "We're close," he whispered to Elisara, though the words were more a comfort to himself than a warning to her. She tilted her head, glowing softly, and moved closer, her steps careful but full of purpose. The tunnel they entered was steep and rugged, with jagged rocks that required precise footing. Alex led the way, using a rope from his pack to secure his path. Elisera followed, her long, agile limbs easily navigating the difficult terrain. Despite her physical abilities, Alex noticed that she still paid attention to his movements, subtly adjusting her path to mirror his caution. Their teamwork had become almost instinctive. Halfway through the ascent, the ground shook violently. Alex froze, gripping the rope tightly. Above them, rocks tumbled down from the ceiling. Elisera reacted instantly, her glowing skin brightening as her heightened instincts flared. Alex grabbed her hand, pulling her out of the path of falling debris. Together, they dodged the rocks and found a small alcove to catch their breath. "That was close," Alex said, his voice calm despite the adrenaline. Elisera made a soft hum, vibrating in a way that suggested understanding and relief. Alex smiled. Every moment of danger reminded him of the fragility of life and the strength of cooperation. Alone, neither of them could have survived. Together, they were a force. After a short rest, they continued. The passage became narrower, forcing Alex to crawl at some points while Elisera moved with almost unnatural grace. Despite the physical strain, Alex's determination never wavered. He had faced countless challenges in his career, but this planet, with its alien landscapes and unpredictable inhabitants, demanded more than experience. It demanded ingenuity, patience, and understanding. Finally, they reached a vertical shaft that seemed to lead directly to the surface. The walls were slick with moisture, and the drop was too great to climb without assistance. Alex examined the shaft carefully, then rigged a pulley system using ropes and his pack's climbing gear. Elisera watched, her glowing eyes following every movement. When Alex completed the setup, he tested it cautiously before extending a rope for her. She hesitated for a moment, her instincts warning her to be careful. Then, with a graceful leap, she caught the rope and began ascending. Alex followed, using every ounce of his strength to maintain balance and momentum. The climb was exhausting, but the promise of sunlight and open air pushed him forward. As they neared the top, a sudden gust of wind blew through the shaft, carrying with it a scent of the alien surface, fresh, vibrant, and alive. Elisera paused, sensing the change in air currents. Alex took the opportunity to look around, scanning for potential dangers on the surface. The forest above was dense, filled with massive trees and glowing plants, but it appeared calm. With one final push, they emerged from the cavern and onto the surface. Sunlight from the twin suns of Calira 7 bathed them in warmth. Alex breathed deeply, savoring the air and the view. The forest stretched endlessly, alive with the movement of alien creatures. Birds with translucent wings soared overhead, and distant waterfalls shimmered like silver threads. It was breathtaking. Elisera stepped onto solid ground, her glowing skin blending with the light around her. She made a soft melodic hum, vibrating with energy and curiosity. Alex smiled, feeling a sense of accomplishment. They had survived the caverns, navigated countless dangers, and reached the surface together. But their journey was not over. The surface held its own challenges. Predatory creatures roamed the forest, and the terrain was unfamiliar and potentially hazardous. Alex scanned for paths and safe zones, noticing a ridge in the distance that might provide higher ground and a vantage point. "We should head that way," he said, pointing toward it. Elisera responded with a soft vibration, indicating agreement. The trek through the forest was slow. Dense foliage and uneven terrain made movement difficult, but Alex's human ingenuity allowed them to create safe paths. He used vines as makeshift bridges, built small platforms over water, and carefully marked their route. Elisera followed closely, using her strength and agility to navigate areas that were too challenging for him alone. Along the way, they encountered small alien creatures. Most were harmless, but a few were territorial. Alex carefully observed them, learning patterns of behavior and using his understanding to avoid conflict. Elisera's instincts complemented his intelligence perfectly. Her reactions were fast and precise, allowing them to dodge danger with minimal risk. By midday, they reached the ridge. From this vantage point, Alex could see the vast expanse of the forest, the rivers, and the distant mountains. He realized that their journey had brought them not just to safety, but to a place where they could observe and understand the planet in a way that few humans ever could. Elisera climbed beside him, her glow brightening in the sunlight. She looked out over the landscape as if seeing it for the first time, and Alex felt a deep respect for her species. She was not only beautiful and strong, but intelligent and aware. The bond they shared went beyond survival. It was mutual understanding and respect, a connection between two very different beings. As they rested, Alex reflected on the lessons of Kalira 7. Humans were not the strongest or the fastest, but they had something unique: ingenuity, empathy, and adaptability. He had used these qualities every step of the way, and they had allowed him to survive alongside Elisara, navigate dangers, and even begin to communicate across species. Elisara's presence had been a constant reminder of the importance of understanding. Her instincts, heightened during this season, could have been dangerous if mishandled. Yet through patience and respect, Alex had learned to interact with her in ways that minimized risk and maximized cooperation. He realized that true strength was not in dominance but in collaboration. As the twin suns began to set, painting the forest in shades of pink and gold, Alex knew it was time to find a safe place to camp. He identified a cluster of large hollow trees that could provide shelter and protection. Carefully, he led the way, with Elisara following. Together, they gathered materials to create a simple but secure resting place. That night, beneath the glowing alien sky, Alex and Elisara rested. Alex reflected on the journey, from the narrow tunnels of the caverns to the dangerous rivers and finally to the vast surface. Every step had been a test of skill, patience, and understanding. Every challenge had been overcome through cooperation and mutual respect. Elisara lay nearby, her glow dim but steady. She made soft hums that seemed to communicate contentment, perhaps even trust. Alex smiled, realizing that their bond had grown stronger than he had ever expected. They were no longer just a human and an alien trapped together. They were partners in survival, explorers of a new world, and students of each other's abilities and cultures. The next morning, Alex prepared to continue his journey. He knew that the planet still held unknown dangers and opportunities, but he also knew that he was not alone. Elisara would accompany him, and together they could face whatever lay ahead. Their partnership had proven that humans, with their intelligence, adaptability, and empathy, could thrive even in the most alien environments. As they moved forward, Alex felt a sense of hope and excitement. Kalira 7 was a world of beauty and danger, a place that challenged every skill and instinct. Yet it was also a world of learning and discovery, where cooperation and respect could lead to survival and understanding. Elisara walked beside him, her glow harmonizing with the morning light. She moved with confidence now, trusting in his guidance while he relied on her instincts. Together they had overcome impossible odds, navigated treacherous terrain, and survived the unpredictable challenges of an alien world. Alex realized that the journey was about more than survival. It was about understanding, connection, and the power of working together. The bond he shared with Elisara was a reminder that humans were capable of extraordinary things, not through strength alone, but through intelligence, empathy, and courage. As they reached the edge of the forest, overlooking a vast valley filled with shimmering rivers and glowing flora, Alex took a deep breath. The horizon stretched endlessly, full of possibilities and challenges yet to come. He knew that the journey of exploration would continue, but for now, he had achieved something remarkable: survival, partnership, and a new understanding of life beyond his own world. Elisara turned to him, her glowing eyes reflecting the twin suns rising behind them. She made a soft hum, vibrating with what Alex interpreted as acknowledgement and perhaps appreciation. He nodded, a smile spreading across his face. They had survived Kalira 7 together, not as conquerors, but as learners, explorers, and friends. And in that moment, Captain Alex Ryder realized the truth of the human spirit. It was not just strength or speed that made humans extraordinary.
I